Today's episode of Wiki Sift is brought to you by Tony the Hacksaw's Illegal Porridge.
We are very slowly descending into the 7:30 a.m. rush hour drive time radio show. And now, with Discord having a soundboard, we can do the goofy sound effects. Whoosh.
I don't need a soundboard.
I meant to do the air horn and I accidentally did the sad horn.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a slow burn tonight. I'm very tired. Very exhausting weekend with a sick child.
Yeah.
Oh, tired is exactly the mindset to be in for tonight.
Good. Does that mean that you're gonna read everything and I don't have to?
You're in the perfectly suggestible state that we need you to be in so that at the end of this, you're going to believe everything you've heard.
Is this gonna be one of those fucking channels I keep seeing on the free, like, ad-supported TV, like, streaming services? Like, Aliens' Greatest Natural Mysteries?
You have hit the nail on the head.
Oh, mother...
Absolutely.
Welcome to Wiki Sift, a shallow dive into pop culture and fandom. Today we're going to be talking about UFOlogy. Am I pronouncing that right?
UFOlogy?
I believe the experts say UFOlogy.
Oof. So it's the study of the noises that people make once they've hit middle age.
Yes,
Oof.
pretty much.
I'm Tom, he is an evil genius white, and today I'm joined by...
I'm Stevo, and I am still here. I haven't left.
And I am Ian M. 0x Diamond Burton, your guest master of ceremonies for this little crime against humanity, intelligence, and
our
good taste in general.
and our precious bodily fluids.
Well, yeah, of course.
So, Wiki Sift is a willfully ignorant fandom podcast where we don't actually directly consume media, just read what fans wrote about it online, because I could play all 40 Pac-Man games, but I'd rather go on the Pac-Man wiki and see what all the different ghost names are. We know Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Clyde, but are you familiar with Dinky, Kinky, Spunky, and Winky?
Spunky, no. Winky, maybe.
Kinky, absolutely.
That's not to mention the illustrious Master Goo,
Oh.
Ogle,
Oh.
Glunky, Glooky, Creepy, Yum Yum, and of course Orson.
Yum Yum!
Yes, those are all canon.
Let us not forget Galvis.
Always happy when I get a visit from Yum Yum.
I've always loved Galvis ever since I found out that there was a Pac-Man character named fucking Galvis.
Once again, you're just naming different gang members of those proto-stars.
Galvis.
Oh man, I hope the protostars are all named Inky, Blinky, and Pinky.
Inky,
Yum
Blinky,
Yum.
Pinky, Clyde, Sue, and Galvis flipping his quarter in the corner of the alley.
I'm just imagining these giant protostars out in the middle of like a maze in space, and then Pac-Man comes around the corner with a pill. Like, it's Pac-Man, cheese it!
Don't let his lips touch you, man.
Oh boy.
But today specifically, we're talking about ufology. I'm just going to pronounce it like that from now on.
This is also a doubly interesting concept because we are doing sort of a retro throwback episode here. The concept is basically, what if we tried to do Wiki Sift on pre-Wikipedia internet? Which is to say, doing this kind of thing, but you're going off of sources of just random people's, like, GeoCities pages rather than Wikipedia or whatever.
So you mean those Game Shark codes where, like, you can get, like, Eris back on disc 3 of Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah,
but
you can catch
right.
Peekaboo, the Pokegod, in Pokemon
Dude,
Red and Blue.
So no lie. Earlier today, I was commenting to Val how many times I legitimately tried to beat the, like, Elite Four without getting hit once and then move that goddamn truck.
Mm-hmm.
That is a shout out to early Pokemon lore if you are familiar with that.
And if you're not, don't even worry about it. It's not going to get mentioned one more time on this stream. And by saying that, I know it's going to get mentioned a lot.
Yeah. This is about as like, ask people, do you remember Plastic Man emulation? And if they do, they'll get the reference.
Plastic Man. I remember 1 minute left. That was my first emulation site.
Remember, if you delete the ROMs within 24 hours, it's okay. I never did.
My uncle is a lawyer for Nintendo.
Specifically Nintendo of America in Japan.
Yeah.
I have still got ROMs that have OML at the beginning of their file names from 1 minute left.
We found a floppy disk of my spouse's that just said homework. I think it was like 3rd grade homework or something. And it was a copy of Dragon Warrior 3 on NES.
What? My teacher said I had to get to level 10 on all my characters in Dragon Warrior 3.
Listen, if you listen to this show, I would like for you to leave a comment if you specifically enjoy that short span of time between when Tom introduces it and when we get to the actual fucking topic.
Which usually lasts about 27 minutes.
My teacher said that if you get all of the characters to level 99 without leaving the first village, then it makes them naked.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's pretty GeoCity. That is very GeoCities, not gonna lie.
Anyhow, all right. So first and foremost, let's get this rolling here. First and foremost, I've got to thank Ashens. Yes, the UK's Tapmaster General himself.
Dun, 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 dun. Hello.
Hello. I gotta thank him for introducing me to the source material for this episode. He and guest Paul Gannon had a look at the disc on his Ashen's Cached Twitch streams back in early August. However, they didn't take a particularly deep dive on it, and with my lust for both archived media and batshit insanity, I had to look it up and check it out myself.
All right, so before you continue, I gotta ask you one thing, Ian. We've been on a lot of episodes together, and you say you're a fan of archived media. I feel like the specific entry point for that title is like finding pornography on a zip disk. Do you qualify?
I have a zip drive in my closet, so I mean, technically
you can make it happen. You know what? I'll take that. That's an acceptable answer.
Yeah.
I don't doubt anyone here's cred in archived media because I'm pretty sure all three of us have discovered games that would otherwise be dead if not for us. So.
Oh yeah.
Very I've absolutely factually recovered lost media myself, so
yeah, we're all historians here. Please continue.
I should also shout out Worlds of Rogue, a mutual viewer of ours, who was the one who suggested that I pitch this episode to you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Well, I'm saying thank you now. I'll reserve that for after.
Yeah, you're not going to be thanking him by the end.
Good to know.
By the end, you're going to be hailing your new lunar overlords.
Oh, can I mention something cool real fast?
Go ahead. So
every now and again, because you mentioned something, and it reminded me of the lizard people. So every now and again, where I work, we get like phishing like tests in our email. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we have a report phishing button, and it's like, oh yeah, you discovered a piece of spam. Good job. And we recently got one from the RNN, the Reptile News Network. And it said how lizard men were taking over a specific facet of the government and how the Illuminati was outraged.
That's my favorite part. Holy shit. Damn it, we have to stop these reptile men.
No, I was saying, I was making a comment to a coworker. I'm like, I hope whoever wrote this fake phishing email gets a bonus because that made my day.
Absolutely.
That is called enjoying the job you have. So yes, I was speaking, and a coworker said, I also welcome our lizard overlords. So
Yeah.
I feel like this is a good topic for me right now. It's fresh in the mind.
You see, we're in the right mindset.
You remember that Simpsons episode where Mr. Burns found out he had a condition that they called Three Stooges syndrome, where he has every disease at once and they're all fighting for control of his body so that none of them actually... That's what I'm thinking here, like the Illuminati and the lizard people and all these different paranormal factions, the Bigfoots are all fighting each other for control of the world, and that's the reason we're safe, because no one is able to overcome the rest.
They just keep fucking each other over and getting the producer to make more sequels.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So anyways, the source in question is a CD-ROM from 1997 called, quote, The Hidden Truth, unquote, which was a commercially sold product made up entirely of websites that the company downloaded local copies of and crammed onto a disc of questionable legality.
It reminds me, I got a bunch of CDs called The Way to Your Dreams that I have to open and explore sometime.
Oh God, that sounds incredible.
Right? And the thing is, I know I want to have other people around, but I have yet to, right until this moment, thought that this would be a good group of people to do it around. So now I know.
Yeah, now you know.
All right, that's a live stream bonus.
The end result is a fascinating time capsule of mid-90s web design, pseudoscience, and almost certainly schizophrenia. It's been equal parts fascinating, hilarious, and infuriating putting together the contents for this month's episode for you guys. I'm fairly certain that in the process of compiling this information, that my brain attempted to claw its way free from my skull no less than 5 times. With that being said, let's get right into the meat of this presentation. Now, first and foremost, we'll be looking at UFOlogy, or UFOlogy as it's often called by experts. What is UFOlogy?
Oh, yeah. All right. I clicked your link, and yeah, those looked exactly like the people in the UFO porn that I have seen. Oh, man. Also, that's a sweet 80s, like, low-budget action movie cover right there.
This honestly looks like a Nintendo game, like, what am I thinking of, like, Cobra Jungle or whatever?
Oh, you're talking about, like, the Ultra games, like Metal Gear and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, there's actually, yeah, wait a minute.
Where it's got the red framing.
Yeah, that is Ultra Games' Nintendo logo right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Damn it, I put it in my Nintendo and now it's smoking.
Oh, what's that game that was like a reskin of Rolling Thunder, but it's like Jungle Commandos?
Oh, Codename Viper, I think?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. Codename Viper.
This cover is actually referencing, that's funny that you bring up the games thing. This cover is referencing the real life Varginha incident from, I believe, Brazil, which in turn was made into a first-person shooter for DOS back in the day. So there is a game connection.
Yay!
There's nothing funnier than being like a 12-year-old looking through Home of the Underdogs, another throwback for fucking abandonware here this time, and that's finding a game called The Virginia Incident.
I like to imagine that all the enemies are just sleeping aliens on operating tables.
Yeah, you just go in and smash them up with a shovel.
That alien's just going for a spa day.
Webster's dictionary defines ufology as, quote, the study of unidentified flying objects, end quote. A better definition would perhaps be the endless cycle of unmedicated madmen spouting paranoid delusions, gullible rubes taking them at face value, and hucksters capitalizing on the situation. The core belief of ufology is that life is one big science fiction story, and it's written by the most miserable bastard in the world.
L. Ron Hubbard.
I at this point have avoided all works by Mr. L. Ron Hubbard, and would prefer to continue to do so.
I'm glad we both thought of the same person.
Yeah.
You know what, this picture of the UFO that you've sent us?
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Monty Python sketch where England was invaded by a giant blamage.
Yes! Who means to win Wimbledon.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one who remembers every single Monty Python sketch.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, where were we? It supposes that the future is here today, but we'll never see it because reasons. Aliens are real, but the only ones that bother with us are complete tool bags. Every scientist in the world is wrong about everything, and only some guy on the internet who claims to have read a book once knows what's really going on. They're all the heroes of their own story.
Yeah, it's always that one guy that you find on 4chan.
Mm-hmm. Bravely bringing this forbidden knowledge that the government doesn't want you to know about to the public. How the government can suppress the existence of anti-gravity flying machines that can travel faster than light, but can't stop some guy who never got his GED from repeating something a frothing lunatic had a hallucination about on the internet is never explained.
Yeah, we do deserve the technology from the Gads from Rise of the Triad, don't we? I love that game. And it's almost entirely for the music. The music is so good.
A fantastic game. And you know what? It's a game where it's very clear that the developers were just having a good fucking time.
When you get a dog mode,
you gotta respect that.
Dog mode. Best thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I found out that my favorite track from Rise of the Triad was based on the composer just screwing around and making a song out of the sound of a guy getting hit by the shovel in Blazing Saddles.
Oh, the big oof?
Yeah, that's why it's called Ow.
Ow.
Now that you're familiar with the gist of things, let's take a closer look at the alleged facts. And now we're going to start with a list of all the alien life forms that were known of in 1997. There were the Greys, who were, of course, the traditional bog standard alien that's been cemented in popular culture. They hail from Zeta 2 Reticuli, particularly the planet Zeta Reticuli 4.
Sounds like something from my spouse's medical books.
I mean, yeah, sometimes you just come down to the bad case of Zeta Reticuli, and, you know, at that point you got to get a massive spinal adjustment or else, whoo boy!
I'm looking at this star map here, and I'm hoping that my limited understanding of astronomy is able to already pick apart some problems.
Well, I'm sure there probably are. The Greys are reportedly 3 foot 5 inches to 4 foot 5 inches tall, with a humanoid shape and bipedal gait, thin to the point of frailty with disproportionately long limbs. 3 or 4 fingers per hand with webbing between the digits. Large heads with no hair, huge black eyes, 2 tiny nostrils, tiny mouth, and no visible ears. Blood is reportedly pale yellow or whitish.
Cream. They're filled with Boston cream filling.
Yeah. What did the cement mixer spill on Strong said today? Ram's blood, magic eye, or Boston cream? Their activities include human abduction and experimentation, animal mutilation, and allegedly a hybrid and or clone breeding program.
Clone breeding.
Yeah, clone breeding, you know. Gotta breed your clones somehow, right? Maybe by cloning them?
Gotta fill up the ranks for the jazz band and make nationals.
What?
Look, the aliens are just trying to make their best swing choir possible. The world is black. The world is white. Now, they have underground bases built on Earth with possible locations including Laguna Cartagena in Puerto Rico, the southern U.S., and Iceland. And then here's a quote from the Malta UFO group on the subject. The bodies of 4 or 5 of these beings, possibly one was still alive, were recovered near Roswell, New Mexico in 1947 by the U.S. Air Force. The crashed spacecraft was also recovered. The EBE, or extraterrestrial biological entity for us laymen, is said to have remained, quote, a guest of the U.S. Air Force until 1952 when it died. Subsequent contacts with these alien entities were made, resulting in an agreement in which the U.S. would allow the Greys to abduct humans and animals in return for their advanced technology. The craft, as well as the frozen bodies of the dead aliens and others that were recovered over the years, are kept at various heavily guarded secret facilities such as Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, and Area 51, Site 4, Groom Lake, Nevada. So write into that address for your free chance to win a Zeta Reticuli 4 t-shirt.
Oh, I was going to write to Stickly.
No, Stickly will just tell you, you gotta be careful. The Greys are gonna abduct you and put tracking devices inside of your flesh.
I'm just imagining the t-shirt. I went to Zeta 2 Reticuli and all I got was a horrific human gray clone hybrid.
That t-shirt does not roll off the tongue.
No, it doesn't. That's what makes it amazing.
All right. So you know what? The only way I will buy this shirt, and I want the whole text on there, is that if you still put it in a big font so that by the time you get to the bottom of the front, it's still going, and then it just wraps around as one solid line.
I kind of want to start going to UFOlogy meetups and whatnot, wearing t-shirts that they don't know are mocking them. Just have a picture of a gray on my shirt and underneath have written mommy.
They will absolutely not get it. You will absolutely have no less than 3 guys going you too. You too.
Well, I had a very convincing dream and I'm pretty sure it was real.
Yeah. That you joke, but I've absolutely seen that shit in here.
Yeah.
So after the Greys, then we have the Reptilians / Reptiloids. So Steve is excited now.
Yay! We get to talk about the lizard people. No lie. Before you continue, I was a film composer for one specific guy for 10 years, and to date, one of the things that he says he's the most happy with is the theme song I made for a rip-off conspiracy podcast called Data Wars. I'm sorry,
That's
no,
incredible.
Data Battles. It's Data Battles, my bad.
Oh, that's even better. That's even better.
It's data, and it's literally just 5 orchestra hits and then a looping arpeggio.
What?
It is the worst thing I have ever written.
He hired you to do 5 orchestra hits and that was your contribution to his project?
No, I did the rest of the soundtrack too. That's what he was most happy with, though. Yeah, the rest of the stuff is good, but you know what's real good? That Data Battles theme, Steve.
Did you throw in any Konami haze with them?
I feel like whenever someone writes their first science fiction novel, the second alien they make up is some sort of reptilian human. It just seems like a default idea.
Yeah, kind of. So, yes, we're now talking about things that include the lizard man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who are generally 6 foot to 8 foot tall with green scaly skin like a lizard's and large yellow or golden eyes with horizontal slit pupils like a cat's.
Now, when do we talk about the genitals? Because there's a lot of contention about that.
One thing at a time.
Yeah, don't even get me started. According to the Malta UFO group, it is interesting to note that this entity is similar to what the dinosaurs may have evolved into had they still been around.
That are birds.
But what if the dinosaurs didn't go extinct?
Luigi.
What if they only got sent into an alternate dimension?
Mario, we gotta go
What
back.
if they found a way back?
Luigi, what if somebody offered you $50,000 to hunt you?
Every time I think of this movie, the first quote that comes to mind is inexplicably, you know, Mario, sea turtles travel thousands of miles every year completely on instinct, Mario. Not in New York traffic, they don't.
Whenever I think of the movie, the first thing I think of is Dennis Hopper gleefully pointing at the man he just turned into a chimp and going, "Monkey!"
Monkey. Yeah.
And he's so happy about it, too. It's like a kid getting his first Tootsie Roll Pop.
It's just genuine glee. He's just so happy.
I would like to deep fake a Dennis Hopper visit to the zoo and him rolling up to the monkey cage and just pointing excitedly.
Monkey.
It's like everyone he's used that rayon turned into a lizard, and then one person turned into a chimp, and his mind is just blown.
He is showing the knowledge that he can identify what this animal is. You know, it's psychological progress.
Look, in a universe where everything descended from dinosaurs, that's got to be pretty exciting for him, and I'm glad that he got that opportunity.
Unabashedly adore that film. Unabashedly.
Absolutely.
I saw it twice in the theaters.
Will I tell you that it's a good film?
Fuck no.
Nah, I get it. No, but is it a fun movie? Yes, absolutely. I love watching that movie.
All right, let's
As of 1996, most were not bold enough to claim to know their origins. Supposedly view Earth as their ancient outpost and seek to hold total dominion over it as their own world is becoming unable to support life. Some say the Greys are subservient to the Reptilians. And another quote from the Malta UFO group says, in what kind of shocked me to read, are said to have several underground bases on Earth. Various bizarre reports can be found on these entities and should be taken with a pinch of salt. For example, I know, right?
a pinch.
For example, it has been said that the Schumacher-Levy 9 comet that impacted Jupiter was actually a reptoid invasion fleet that was thrown off course by a friendly alien race to save the Earth.
Why don't we get a fucking video game about that?
Yeah,
So-
seriously, what the fuck?
That's always the funniest thing to me when these UFO experts finally tell you what their limits are of what they believe.
Yeah, where they're like, all right, I've drawn a line in the sand. It's way the fuck further out than your line in the sand, but there is a line there.
It's like, I know I'm crazy, but still.
So there definitely are lizard people, and they walk among us, and they have secret bases everywhere, but not that many secret bases.
And
There's
like, come on.
3 tops.
There's not like Star Wars shit going on up there. Come on.
You've seen how expensive missile silos go for on the contemporary real estate market. How much more abysmal do you think it is when the only real estate is underground?
Oh, don't even get me started.
Okay, hold on. I just noticed something that I need to pick apart here. The comet that impacted Jupiter was an invasion fleet. So it wasn't one ship that crashed into Jupiter. That was like a dozen. That was like a dozen ships that all crashed into Jupiter at the same time. And to us, it looks like one single comet.
It could be phrasing as in the fleet is a fleet of soldiers aboard a single ship.
I mean, I guess I feel like fleet is a specific word for a bunch of ships.
Cars.
Like,
It's a specific word for cars.
okay, if they had like 100 cars on one ship, then that could constitute a fleet. Thank you for bringing some reality to this. Thank you, Stevo.
So the invasion fleet had a fleet of cars, and that's why they called it a fleet.
Disney Pixar's Cars was heavily about the Reptilians, if you really read between the lines.
Every single one of them was a Tercel.
If you think about it, why don't you see any humans in the world of Disney Pixar's Cars? Because the Reptilians won, and all the Reptilians are underground. Duh.
We must all be visiting like different BBSs for this shit, aren't we? Our conspiracies are not overlapping.
So Nordics and blondes come next.
I'm sorry, what?
I shit you not, this is a thing.
Blondes?
I had never heard of this before.
What is this picture?
Yeah, the art is great. It looks like something out of like one of the first edition D&D books.
This looks like concept art for Stanley Kubrick's 2001 for like the early man. Like,
yes, it does.
You know, I didn't click on the Reptilians one, but I'll click on this one.
For all I know, that might be what it is.
Oh shit, that's my D&D character.
Someone just took some of his liner notes and they're like, this is real. But yeah, in a weird way, I have heard of this blondes thing because the video game Perfect Dark has aliens that are disguised as tall blonde people, including one that they call Mr. Blonde. And I thought that was just something they made up for the game.
Yeah, it looks like it might have been a reference to this shit because...
Man, they look remarkably Wisconsin.
The game does have grays, and it has well, they're called the Mayans in that, but they look like grays, and they're like reptilians called like the Skidar.
Oh yeah, that's Jack Black's catchphrase from Kung Fu Panda. Skidar.
No, I checked my underwear. I didn't do that.
Okay. I like how this Nordic picture is just like borderline like erotic art.
Also, like, I looked away for a second, and out of the periphery of my eye, instead of putting up like the open hand, I thought dude was giving me a thumbs up and winking at me.
Yeah.
They've got like this giant four-headed cave woman who's topless with her boobs just barely cropped out in the picture.
That is Scandal front woman singing The Warrior. What is her name? Patty Smythe.
I'm just saying, if this isn't erotic art, I don't know what these guys are doing.
Also, that fan art of Leonard Nimoy has him far too muscular. Goodness, that bowl cut looks like it's two separate faces.
Leonard Nimoy is He-Man.
I believe that the term you're looking for is bara. It's a Japanese anime term.
Also, okay, is that his neckline, or is he shirtless wearing a tie?
Yeah, he's wearing a tie. Absolutely. Plumbers don't wear ties. Nordics do.
Hello, me oog, me get hit with supercomputer.
Ooh, banana.
Okay, so the multi-UFO group says, very human looking. If you met one on the streets or in an office, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. They are called Nordics or blondes because they are tall, 6 to 7 feet, have blonde hair and fair skin. This type of alien is most intriguing since it suggests that the human form is not native to Earth or that we may have common ancestors.
I'm just imagining a bunch of aliens just across the universe, completely nude, spinning around looking like this, going wee. This is the universal form? This is peak life?
Yes!
Looking like you're about to roll a fucking cheese down a hill?
Yes! What part are you following?
So why does the art make them look like cavemen if they're supposed to look like us but tall and thin and pale? Like,
look, I don't know.
Those are not cheekbones. They look like stab wounds. Also, where is that woman's neck?
They don't look like Ubermensch. They look like
Undermensch.
Untermensch.
This art style is so weird.
Like I said, it looks like very early D&D art, like that weird outsider art they had in like the first edition books.
Back when they didn't know that this stuff was going to sell, so they hired their cousin to do all the drawings.
You know what? That's what the first Alien picture reminded me of, like first edition Magic the Gathering artwork.
Yeah. Okay, so they're so called because they coincidentally always look like generic Nordic barbarian types, always muscular and in excellent shape. They actively contact and abduct humans, and according to VJ Enterprises, many of the encounters that occur with these aliens seem to be pleasant. People report that the Nordics are here to somehow watch over and help guide us into a new plane of existence. Others report that the Nordics have some kind of conflict with the Greys in the past.
I'm just imagining that someone just bumped into a very tall, like Norwegian man, and they said hi to them, and the man said hi back and was very nice, and they come back reporting, I spoke to a very nice alien.
He started to speak in Norwegian, and when he realized that they didn't speak it, he just shrugged and walked away, and they were like, that was an alien! Then we have the Ancients, who were only mentioned on VJ Enterprises, and there was no art available depicting them.
I just wonder, where did this idea come from? Like, if they're completely identical to very tall, blonde humans. Like, how they know they're not tall, blonde humans? Like, where do they get the idea that some of them are aliens?
Because they say that they abduct people. So
I've
read stories looking into this where people were like, okay, well, let's hear Stevo first.
But my angle is just, these are people who are unfamiliar with what an uncircumcised penis looks like, so they just think that a white person with the foreskin is an alien.
Okay, yeah, Stevo's is much better than anything I could have said, so let's just move right along.
Well, that was a direction.
You're the one that keeps inviting me back.
The top of it peeling back with the sound of the egg opening from Alien. So the ancients are a species that resemble...
I'm just imagining now an egg cracking open and out of it climbs this 7 foot tall uncircumcised nude man.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Oh my God. We have to keep moving or I'm gonna die.
Yes.
The ancients are a species that resemble a praying mantis or grasshopper insect. Their eyes are very large, up to 1/3 of the entire mass of their head. They are reported to be superior to the Greys and may be malevolent to humans. So Zorak, basically.
So why do we not have pictures of them? They sound the most interesting.
I know, and yet, here we are.
Here we are. You know what? That's just the mood. It's just that, you know what? Here we are.
You know, like, some of these things I can understand where the ideas came from, because, like, sometimes people will like hear something in the news or read something and something just doesn't quite add up to them, and they start like going in, like, they start jumping to weird conclusions, and one thing leads to another. And, like, other people discuss and they come up with, like, their own canon of what they think happened. And it's, like, far from the truth, but you at least know where they started from. Some of this stuff just sounds like one person just made it up. And it's now reported on. Like,
You're starting to understand, my friend. You're starting to understand.
Like, I feel like the Greys and the Reptilians and all that stuff started from somewhere factual and went out of control, but, like, the ancients who are, like, praying mantises, that just sounds like somebody just made it up one day, and no one questioned them.
Somebody was like, well, the Greys have to work for somebody, right? Well, who would that be? Oh, right. Yeah, Bugmen. Makes sense.
I have to step away for 30 seconds, but please continue without me.
So we've got the Men in Black next. And I'm not talking about the movie. The movie has nothing to do with this because these guys are the bad guys. As explained by VJ Enterprises, the Men in Black, or MIBs as they are commonly referred to, are a mysterious lot that usually shows up to harass or intimidate witnesses to UFO activity. They usually make vague or sometimes specific threats to stop witness from talking or sharing UFO information. The visitors' faces are frequently described as being oriental in appearance and hairless. Okay. This is their wording, not mine. Let me remind you.
Yeah, I realize that.
It's not a word I would have chosen. They have no facial hair, including being bald and no eyebrows. They wear their trademark black coat with black tie and have a whiter-than-white shirt. Their clothes the clothes are immaculate in appearance, starched with well-defined creases. Some have been reported wearing lipstick. Okay. Their body mechanics are somewhat robotic and awkward. Their voices are monotone and their faces emotionless. They usually travel in threes, but sometimes alone. Their preferred method of travel is late model Cadillacs, black in color and mint condition. Yeah. Although the cars are older, witnesses describe them as smelling new. There have been some reports of MIBs following people around in black helicopters. Although they are threatening, there is no documented case of any threat being carried out, despite the fact that some ignore their warnings.
Yeah, I don't know why the cars are the weirdest part of this. Like, they all drive Cadillacs.
Yeah.
Like,
late model Cadillacs, and they're brand new.
Like, you'd think they would probably change cars over time?
The idea for me that I think is the best is that this implies that these men in black, whoever they are and whoever they actually work for, have like a secret underground facility where they use stolen Cadillac parts, like all the Cadillac engineering shit from like the 1988 Cadillac, to build their own brand new late model Cadillacs. Just for the purpose of telling people, you did not witness a UFO. If you believe you witnessed a UFO, you are a fool. Continuing in this line will result in us smacking your wife and calling her a slut.
I'm kind of imagining that one person had a weird encounter with people who were wearing suits and kind of had a weird appearance and were driving a Cadillac, and they like told their friends, and somewhere along the line I was like, oh yeah, I saw weird people in a suit too. It's like, were they driving a Cadillac?
Oh my God, probably.
Well, I don't know. No, they were probably driving a Cadillac. I think they all drive Cadillacs. That's their thing.
Really what this is there's just somewhere on like the West Coast, like in Oregon or something, there's just a kink community where they really just like to shave themselves completely bald and wear suits and drive around in Cadillacs.
Just like a bunch of old Asian guys in Oregon went gambling one night and someone saw them and freaked out.
Like, all right, I haven't been gone that long. How the fuck did we get here?
We're only on one extra bullet point.
Yes, but why are we talking about whatever you just... What?
We're talking about the Men in Black.
Don't worry about it, Steve,
right.
because we're about to come up. We're about to come up on the best possible one.
Oh.
The Chupacabra.
Oh.
Yes, I'm serious. Shut up. No, for real, I mean it. This one had an entry on the Malta UFO group, but the amazing thing is that despite the source CD dating back to 1997, the link it had to the live web to the Chupacabra homepage actually still worked. I shit you not.
Lasted as long as time queued.
Thanks to Princeton apparently never taking down student pages.
Oh, this was a student page.
The Chupacabra homepage is still up and running after 26 years.
That's fantastic.
This alone is noteworthy, but the page contains incredible information that nobody should be left out of.
Okay, so the part that I love the most about this is that this is a university page. Like, a university student put together this thing on Chupacabra, and he graduated, and the university kept the page up.
He kept driving their traffic.
Yeah. So anyone...
It turns out that 60% of Princeton's page views are from this one Chupacabra page.
Yeah, it's how they justify it to continue charging exorbitant amounts for the ISP.
Exactly. So anyone who was alive and aware in the late 90s is likely to remember the media circus that surrounded the phenomenon of El Chupacabra, as it was unavoidable as the presence of body odor at a Super Smash Bros. Tournament.
I'll be honest, my memory's been burned off so badly, so I have no idea.
I didn't actually hear of Chupacabras until like at least mid-2000s.
Well, if you weren't there or have somehow forgotten, El Chupacabra, literally the goat sucker, was a supposed creature that began terrorizing Puerto Rico in early March of 1995 and somehow made its way to Central America and Florida by the following year. Allegedly responsible for the deaths of thousands of animals, its victims were found with puncture marks in their flesh and every drop of blood drained from their bodies. But what exactly is El Chupacabra? Ignoring the fact that the mystery was later solved definitively and thereafter sightings ceased, the jury is out.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't a real Chupacabra. It was just Bob, the local vampire.
Oh, Bob, you're incorrigible.
Always eating all the goats.
That Bob.
Bob, I keep telling you, we'll buy you your own goat. You don't gotta go out to the wilderness. But he's like, what else am I gonna do on a Friday?
That's what it boiled down to, is he was just bored.
It's been abnormally dark out, and I can go out without being disintegrated by the sun's rays. I want to have some fun, eat some goats.
So instead of saying family matters, it's the same theme. It zooms into the house really warm, like sitcom music, and it just says Bob the Goat Sucker. Oh, honey, come sit down. It's the newest episode of Bob the Goat Sucker.
Bob the Vampire. Theories at the time were quite varied, with both experts and quote-unquote experts alike weighing in. Ranging from the mundane to the outlandish to the absolutely baffling, everyone had an idea, yet nobody could really say for sure. However, if there's one thing we do know for certain, it's the infallibility of eyewitness accounts.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I gotta hear this.
What follows are several choice accounts from the Chupacabra timeline. Would anyone like to read some of this?
All right, I guess I'll start. 1994, Puerto Rico. 4 or 6 little grays found under a bed and chased out of the house with a broom. Reported by Joyce Murphy. I'm not sure what this has to do with chupacabras, but...
All right, I'll read the next one. Sunday, November 19th, 1995, Puerto Rico, triple dots. Said to have ripped open a bedroom window of a house in the north central city of Caguas. Destroyed a stuffed teddy bear. Oh, no. And left a puddle of slime. Oh, so like my dog. And a piece of rancid white meat on the windowsill. Well, that was nice. It breaks in and leaves a mess, but now you got a piece of, rancid meat.
It's better than Christmas!
It's useful in the Fallout universe, I'm sure. It had hairy arms and huge red eyes. In another attack, it came at about 7 a.m. It just showed up and poof, it vanished. So, it's like spaghetti and then disappears. Great.
Like hairy arms and huge red eyes. I mean, that could just be Bob the Vampire.
Yeah.
I want to go suck some goats.
November 19, 1995. Oh, that's the same date. 35 times in 3 months. Canovanas, Puerto Rico. A resident saw one afternoon in his backyard when it came out of the brush and bit the family dog. I think it belongs to the monkey family, but it isn't a monkey exactly, he said. It ran like a monkey and was about 4 feet tall, but it didn't have a tail.
It was Goku!
Goku bit my dog!
Goku has a tail, doesn't he? Which one of them has a tail?
Not after they rip it off. He originally had a tail, but they eventually tore it off because every full moon he turned into a giant fucking gorilla.
They were just like, nah, we ain't dealing with that.
Wow.
They go to pull his tail out. They look and see he's uncircumcised and think he's an alien.
All right, Stevo.
I'm kind of broken, man. Friday, 15th December, 1995. Puerto Rico again. The creature is 4 to 6 feet tall, walks upright, is not humanoid, has large oval alien-type eyes.
Okay, Thursday, December 21st, 3 a.m. near Guanica, Puerto Rico, or Puerto Rivo, according to this. 44-year-old Osvaldo Claudio Rosado was washing a car. He was grabbed from behind. He tried to fight off the intruder and saw a black-haired gorilla about 5 feet tall, which ran off. Rosado had cuts in his abdomen, possibly torn by fingernails or claws.
Apparently, this is in the northwest Miami rural area, March 96. One woman saw a dog-like figure standing up with 2 short hands in the air, waving them like you just don't care.
I was gonna say it, damn it! Steve.
Thursday, May 2nd, doesn't say year, I'm assuming it's 96, Juarez, Mexico. Many small mammals, dogs, etc. have met with this tall animal-like being with 3-toed feet and hands on haunches, with a forearm suspended at chest level, very similar to a kangaroo.
Wait, isn't that just Roger from Tekken 2?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Roger from American Dad, and I was like, what?
Oh, gosh.
It has a row of spikes or straight feather-like projections from its head and down its back that raise and lower and have been seen to glow with their own light. Has been seen to take off on all fours. The sucking device seems to be a tube-like projection from the mouth.
Or a vuvuzela.
I feel like I already see where this is going, but I want to read the different descriptions before I get there.
Yeah, May 3rd, 1996. Raccoon City. Caldera Village, Sinaloa, northern Mexico. A giant bat-like creature terrorizes a village. It was just Dracula from Castlevania. Goats were found daily with their blood sucked dry. Witnesses said today, farmers have formed night vigilante squads. We are telling people to keep the women and children locked up inside at night, a villager said. Nobody knows really what it is. Dozens of goats have fallen victim to the bloodsucker. Dozens, I say. It has allegedly attacked one human. And we think they mistook him for one of his kind because it was Robin Williams.
Friday, May the 3rd, Sinaloa State, the state below Sonora State. Oh, they're giving us a geography lesson.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
The animals is described as 1 to 1.5 feet and able to take flight.
That is a different animal entirely. Shut up.
See, that's what I was going to bring up. Every single one of these descriptions is completely different from the others, so I have no idea why they're all assuming that it's the same creature.
All right.
There's not even single thing. There's no common link between any of these descriptions. It's all just complete random.
Don't worry.
It's like each person who had an encounter clicked random on the character generator.
Tom, Ian's trying to tell you not to worry because we're on page 6 of 24.
Oh, boy.
I think it's a lot more text heavy in this just because there's no like links or anything like Tom's documents usually have. It's all right here. So I don't think it's going to be that huge.
May 9, 1996, 2 a.m. Espinoza family. A front door was open and a creature was seen 3 to 4 foot high with scaly skin, clawed hands, red eyes, and a row of spines from the skull cap and down the back. The creature mumbled and gestured.
That's just Uncle Ray, and he's been hitting the vodka.
I'm just imagining like some like creep out in like Central Park wearing a trench coat, just making like lewd gestures at people and pointing and mumbling under his breath. Let's go, honey. Leave the Chupacabra alone.
Fucking taxes. May 9th, 1996, 5 to 5:30 a.m. dawn. A 7-year-old boy in the same house said the creature stood on his bed and briefly on his chest. Whoa, hold on.
The same one that mumbled and gestured, I should note.
Both the older and younger Espinoza family members described a smell like a wet dog. Very large, slanted, glowing red eyes. Face is flat, perhaps simian-like. Body, some say, is covered with spotted skin like a frog's, or has spikes on its head and back with chicken legs that have 3-toed foot about 6 inches long.
Why did you pronounce foot like foot?
Foot.
Don't worry about it.
I'm sticking with my initial pronunciation. Such tracks have been found and photographed in dirt near dead animals. This creature has been seen to hop or fly from the ground to a tree, or from trees to the ground. He also tried to give me his band's demo on CD.
My headcanon now is that the Chupacabra is senior card gauge.
Many combinations, Elizabeth. Don't tell no Mandy, but it's just a landmore turned bankways.
Oh no, the lizard men are taking over my Illuminator.
A 7-year-old boy wakes up and finds senior card gauge standing on his chest.
That is great. It's greeted by
Don't perambulate about the Grunstragulans.
Well, before anything else, he looks, and instead of having the smell like a wet dog, it's just the auspicious sounds of a street when no street is nearby.
He left an empty candy wrapper behind.
Some said he smelled like pea soup. He smelled like pea soup. So, Using the testimony given by these witnesses' accounts and more via the Chupacabra homepage, I've at least managed to compile an exact description of the creature. The Chupacabra is definitively between 1 and 6 feet tall.
Brilliant. Give him the Nobel Prize. Give him the Nobel Prize. We don't need to hear anymore.
Features generally comparable to a dog, an ape, a lizard, an insect, a bat, a kangaroo, or an alien. With huge red and possibly glowing eyes, with scaly and or spotted skin, possibly with hair, with 3 or 4 fingers and toes on hands and feet, clawed hands, walks on 2 or 4 limbs, with rows of spines and or feathers starting at the back of the head and trailing down the spinal column, sometimes capable of giving off their own light, uses large fangs and or a tube-like projection from the mouth to suck victims' blood. It can jump very high and also fly, and is somehow capable of high-speed travel between Puerto Rico, Mexico, Florida, and several other U.S. states.
Has a lot of frequent flyer miles.
Now I'm just imagining the Chupacabra sitting in coach on a flight.
Person next to the Chupacabra looks over, is about to say something. The Chupacabra looks up with its proboscis-esque thing, and the guy just goes, never mind.
And then he goes, and then asks the stewardess to get him a goat so he can have something to drink.
Just 14 more air milables, and I
He
can...
smells like wet dog because he's just a fan of that awful alcoholic concoction Homer invented one time called a lawnmower, which was vodka and wheatgrass juice.
With the facts so clearly laid out, it's hard to see how an answer was not quickly found. Still, theories abounded, some of which are included as notes at the end of the timeline. The world's 3 species of blood-sucking bats live predominantly in the warm climates of Latin America. Similar recent cases have emerged from Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, and El Salvador. Puerto Rico harbors a number of military animal research laboratories. Seeing either the creature or moving lights in the night sky has led to speculation that the Chupacabras might be from outer space.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, great.
The New Jersey Devil adheres to descriptions of physical appearancy as well as the nature of the wounds. Puncture wounds are often left resembling the classic vampire bite. And this is the fucking pièce de résistance. There is a body of thought that the bats properly belong in the primate family.
Oh, fuck off.
If so, then these dudes are our rellies. Note that humans are the easiest of prey compared to goats and other animals, yet there's no evidence that they have hurt anyone.
Ow, my head. Ow.
No.
Stop.
Hold it together, it gets worse. Also note the similarities with Spring-Heeled Jack, Jack the Ripper, and the Devil
Jack
of
the
15th to
Ripper?
17th century literature that may have sparked the witch hunts. There'll be some red Christian faces if this turns out to be so.
What?
You know what? When you say, hold on a second, it has the same exact delivery as, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering. Goodness.
Oh, boy. Humans are the easiest of prey.
Yeah,
like,
that's what Tom, that is exactly what I'm reeling at. Humans are the easiest of prey. Have you met the average person that lives in rural West Virginia?
humans are the easiest prey if maybe we had no technology and we didn't have like a society and we were just like out in the middle of the jungle and protected.
I'm gonna make a second reference to the pest. Humans are easy prey if you're trying to hunt John Leguizamo.
I mean, yeah, no one's arguing that, but the Chupacabra isn't going after John Leguizamo. While the theory that El Chupacabra might be Jack the Ripper is one that I think deserves further scrutiny.
Hold on a second, we've actually broken Tom.
It's not until you put it in a sentence like that. I'm sorry, it just didn't hit me until I heard you say it again that the Chupacabra might be Jack the Ripper. I'm sorry, that's...
And also literally Satan, but, you know.
Yeah. Or just what people think of as him. Oh, there'll be some red Christian faces when they find out it's really Chupacabra.
Above us there is heaven, and below us is the realm of the Chupacabra.
I know a really, really cool bar in downtown Baltimore, and I'm gonna ask him...
Called the realm of the Chupacabra?
Make me a drink! This is the name. Red Christian Faces. Just make whatever your heart tells you. And that's the drink. Serve it as the special for the rest of the night.
I love the idea that, like, religious references to, you know, a devil of sorts goes back thousands of years, but it turns out it was all a goat sucker that was discovered in the 90s.
In Miami.
You know, whatever. Well, the theory that El Chupacabra might be Jack the Ripper is one I think deserves further scrutiny, being the most logically sound choice. One brave man, a Mr. Jorge Martin, then editor of OVNI Evidencia, a Brazilian UFO publication, decided to analyze the potential connection between the goatsucker and extraterrestrials. Accusing the Puerto Rican government of making up nonsensical excuses about wild dogs and making claims that there was no loss of blood in the bodies examined.
What? What? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I want to point that out.
Emphasize this.
So
the official coroner's report.
There was no actual loss of blood. People just assumed it. And when the government tells them, there was no loss of blood. They're like, no, we know the truth.
Because there was a lot of blood at the scene, and, like, I'm assuming, like, someone squeezed a wound and more blood didn't come out, they said, oh my god, all the blood's been taken out. And then when a vet tech takes a look at the corpse and does an autopsy and says, actually, there's plenty of blood in here. Bullshit! Fucking bullshit!
I saw you with your hose connected to the Heinz ketchup bottle.
He posits that the facts tell a very different story. The animals have been found with many small, perfect circular holes at about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch diameter, arranged in pairs of triangular fashion. These penetrate deep into the neck.
Oh, my brain.
Yeah.
A pair in a triangular fashion. You can't have a triangular array of two things. What is
sure
this?
You can.
It's a pair, but rendered in polygons, made up of tiny triangles.
It says they're circular holes in a triangular fashion of two.
Listen,
Are you
don't
expecting us to have an answer?
I'm expecting the universe to have an answer, and I'm demanding one immediately.
Well, I feel like this should be between you and
a crazy person.
I feel like this is something you should take to somebody else.
These penetrate deep into the neck of lower jaws of the victims, see photographs, which I didn't include because I don't think the article actually had photographs.
Oh my gosh.
Dr. Carlos Soto, a qualified veterinary, states the wounds have a regular pattern in many of the cases. Into the head of the animal, a hole penetrating through the right jawbone, muscle and tissue, and straight into the brain. More specifically, directly to the cerebellum, puncturing it and causing instant death to the animal. This regular type of wound, and the path followed by whatever intrudes into the body, indicates premeditation and intelligence. Of great interest, the attack reveals a type of euthanasia technique, for this method prevents the attacked animal from suffering. This too revealed intelligence.
Okay.
I really should have shut the door on this person standing in front of my house a long time ago.
Okay, alright, whatever, I'll roll with that.
Let me point out to you something that these people never fucking consider. But it needs to be considered. Could it be that if this is actually true in any meaningful way, and that there was a puncture straight through directly into the cerebellum on some of these animals, could it not be that somebody wanting to cash in on the phenomenon going on in the media got out their fucking euthanasia device at the farm that they used to kill the cow before it goes to slaughter and went, poof, hey, the goat sucker was here.
Yeah.
But nobody ever lies to ufologists.
Except me and my ironic t-shirts.
Yeah, you monster. They conveniently ignore the fact that whatever penetrates the animal is at least 3 or 4 inches long, and in a few cases has been known to cauterize the wall of the wound, apparently to prevent excessive blood loss. No known animal species on Earth can do this. Some of the wounds of this type appear on the sides of and belly of the victim. This penetration usually cuts through the stomach, down to the liver, apparently removing sections of the organ and absorbing liquid from it.
I'm sorry, Tom, are you also going cross-eyed?
I'm just trying to get through this, man.
Such actions would require an incision of up to 5 inches, a fact verified during necropsies performed on the animals. The triangular wounds have been noted to enter the body and hit the liver. Now, next, he makes some general observations about the creature.
So have we established then that they are triangular puncture wounds and not a triangular formation
perfectly
of circular? Yeah.
It sounds to me like this guy is going back and forth between, like, there are these wounds, oh, there's also this kind of wounds, oh, there's multiple different kinds of wounds on them.
Yeah.
Almost as if maybe they died from one animal killing them, and then another animal came along later and bit them, but no. Want
to go back to talking about the lizard people now?
Many of the killings are associated with strange creatures we have called anomalous biological entities, or ABEs. It is reportedly a cross between a creature known as a gray alien humanoid, mainly because the shape of its head and eyes, and what most witnesses describe as the body of a bipedal erect dinosaur, but with no tail. Its head is oval in shape and has an elongated jaw. 2 elongated red eyes have been reported, together with small holes in the nostril area, a small slit-like mouth with fang-type teeth protruding from upwards and downwards from the jaw.
You know, I'm still giggling to myself that you said erect dinosaur.
You know,
good job.
Some of us just aren't into that section of Amazon's books, but and that would be Tom. Anyways, other witnesses have seen small pointed ears, but this feature has not been seen by other witnesses. It appears to have strong, coarse hair all over its body, and whilst most observers claim the hair is black, it has the remarkable ability to change colors at will, almost like a chameleon. In the dark, it will change to black or a deep brown color. In a sunlit area surrounded by vegetation, it changes to green, green-gray, light brown, or beige. The creature has 2 small arms with 3-fingered clawed hand and 2 strong hind legs, again with 3 claws. This appears to enable it to run quickly and leap over trees. Some witnesses allege over 20 feet in a single bound.
Okay. It sounded like those were completely disconnected thoughts. It has 3 claws, which enable it to run quickly and leap over trees. It does say they have strong hind legs. It's just the way this is written is so, like...
Yeah, it's not written well. There's a lot of use of sick throughout here for an idea, so...
Yeah. It's so wacky how every single thing has to be connected back to the grays. Every time someone is like, oh, I saw this weird creature, someone else is like, oh, obviously they're a type of gray.
Of course.
But according to many observations, the creature's legs look almost reptilian or goat-like. It has quill-like appendages running down from its back.
My headcanon now is that there's like one guy at all of these like UFO meetup guys like named Greg. And he's the one guy who's like really pushing the whole gray thing. And no matter what direction they try to take any of these like investigations, he always turns it back on the Greys, and they just let him have it.
Because there's no arguing with him. I mean, for fuck's sake, he insists that you call him Greg.
And I'm just imagining like the entirety of what we know about Greys is entirely just this one guy. Like no one else is a Grey expert. It's just this one guy who just keeps bringing everything back to Greys. One day he's gonna die, and then everything we know about Greys is just suddenly
disappear.
gonna go up out into the ether.
Mm-hmm. It'll be a sad day for science.
The aliens finally got him.
Greg didn't die. He just went home.
He just moved on.
Oh man, that kind of makes it sadder. Like the thought that Greg is actually a Grey, like he's an actual alien, and he came to Earth just to teach people about Greys, and people only just kind of tolerate him.
I like to think that he's a Grey, but he's not really teaching. He's just trying to make the Greys seem more important when they're not really.
Yeah.
It has quill-like membranes with what seem to be fleshy membranes that change color from blue to green, red to purple, etc. A number of witnesses claim that the creature flaps at incredible speed, its tail and appendages, allowing it to actually fly.
But it doesn't have wings?
There's no mention of wings, but
What?
it can fly. The tail is apparently used...
Until somebody else new says that it can't. Yes, I know.
I like, by the way, that they said earlier... It was described as like an erect dinosaur, but with no tail. And then here it says, the tail is apparently used to guide its flight only, controlled mainly by the winds, only occasionally seen to flap. So which is it? Does it flap at incredible speed, or does it flap only occasionally?
Depends on how fast your computer
Who are
is.
you working for? At this time, it has been brought to my attention that at least 2 of these creatures have been captured, ! By the government officers, both from the U.S. federal government and the Puerto Rican government. Puerto Rican is one word. They were captured before the 6th and 7th of November, one of them in the town of San Lorenzo in the center east of Puerto Rico, the other in the National Caribbean rainforests in El Yunque to the east. Both were alive and allegedly taken to the United States by special personnel. Our government keeps denying the facts, yet our people perceive they are being lied to. The killings and encounters with these creatures continue. It is probably due to the fact that the incidents are associated with UFOs that the government continues to cover up the facts.
Does this person not realize that Puerto Rico is an American territory?
Yeah, I don't get that.
I also want to point out, Tom, I'm worried about the potential people who might end up listening to the show and then subscribing. If they tune in at the wrong part, they may get the wrong idea.
I think Jorge Martin is from Puerto Rico is the thing, which makes this even more confusing.
Yeah.
Jorge then offers accounts of how the ABEs, please do not say Chupacabra, that is a silly, trivializing name given by the media, are being cited in the proximity of, quote, luminous oval and pyramidal UFOs, end quote. 2 rather undetailed encounters are included.
What about the fucking triangles, man?
We're getting
This
to
is
it.
trapezoid erasure.
2 rather undetailed encounters are included, including one where the ABE flew over a woman's car and up to the UFO. But then there's the incident at Radio Procer. On 18th November 1995, a luminous disk some 40 feet in diameter with a row of dark windows around its center rim positioned itself over the antenna of Radio Procer, a radio station located in the town of Barranquitas in the center of Puerto Rico. Simultaneously, the station's electronic equipment went crazy. Dials just went wild. Incredibly, an obsolete piece of equipment from 1957 stored at the station turned itself on. More astonishingly was the fact that the apparatus was not plugged into any power source. This incident was discussed in the media as many residents in that area saw the UFO as it hovered over the station. Sadly, the TV, radio, and news media that suppressed the information on several encounters, some by residents next to the radio station. Channel 5, WAPA-TV, and Channel 11, Tele 11, covered the incident, but failed to mention the presence of creatures during the sighting. This implies a cover-up by the media.
All right, you know what? That's great, Greg. Tell me again how this is proof of the Greys.
Yeah, and I'm. How does this have to do with chupacabras? Like, we've got it completely into alien territory again.
Because the Chupacabra's an alien. God, keep up. Still, our author is willing to entertain the possibility of Abraham Chupacabra being the result of government-sponsored genetic engineering.
Abraham?
They've been saying ABE,
It's
so
a
I
joke
was making
because
the
it's
joke.
Abe.
Because
It's an Abe.
yeah, so they've nicknamed it Abraham based on that.
I have. That's not.
Okay.
That's my commentary
Oh,
between.
I was gonna say, I think that's Ian's joke, Tom.
Oh, okay, my bad. My bad. But it's hard
Listen,
to tell.
I
with
know
this
it's
stuff.
hard to wrap your head around this. It's so insane. I get it. A Chinese-Russian scientist by the name of Dr. Xian Kanchen has produced genetic manipulations which have created new species of electronically crossed plant and animal organisms.
Okay.
Kanchen developed an electronic system whereby he can pick up the bioenergetic field of the DNA of living organisms
What?
and transfer it electronically to other living organisms.
What?
By these means, he has created incredible new breeds of ducks and chickens with physical characteristics of both species, goats and rabbits, and new breeds of plants
Oh,
such
he
as
invented
corn
the
wheat.
turducken. Wonderful.
Wow.
New breeds of plants such as corn wheat, peanut sunflower seeds, and cucumber watermelons.
Wait a minute, you can't do that. That's just mixing the two together in a container.
I got a better one for you, okay? It's called cross-pollination, for fuck's sake. It happens. My cousin planted watermelons and cucumbers right next to each other, and they cross-pollinated.
And you got watermumbers?
She got cucumbers that were pink inside. So, like, this can happen without your mumbo-jumbo electronic bioenergy ray gun.
I mean, that's also just
But
kind
you
of
found
cool.
a cooler way to do it.
Yeah, why take away the kink of the plant sacks?
These are produced by linking the genetic data of different living organisms contained in their bioenergetic fields by means of ultra-high frequencies, biological linking. If the Russians have created this technology, then without doubt the US and other powers have too.
You know what? I honestly feel like at this point in the date, I would have walked out.
Hey, you're lost, man. I'm gonna get that sweet chupacabra.
It's like you show up to the local hibachi place to meet up with somebody you met on Tinder, and they start coming at you with this chupacabra shit. I wouldn't wait for the volcano. I would just leave.
Therefore, it is quite possible that the chupacabras, or ABEs, could have been developed by humans.
Okay.
More evidence was found in the form of all things, a blood sample.
Okay, biology is my worst subject of the sciences. I can't grasp it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, literally
But-
all I remember about biology is that one time my teacher came in with visible underwear. I was in 9th grade, you shut up.
But, like, I see the part about the bioenergetic field of the DNA of living organisms, and my brain is like, that's not a thing.
No.
No,
Like,
it's not.
I could...
That is something...
I could find someone who is an expert and ask them about this, but I'm not sure I want to inflict that on them.
This is the kind of thing that they would have looked at on, like, season 3 of Star Trek. They'd have written this into a script, and they'd have taken one look at it and said, this is too unbelievable. No one's going to believe that.
Oh, boy.
We obtained samples of blood, allegedly from one of the creatures, which was discovered after it jumped over a fence and tripped. This occurred at 9 p.m. on 3rd October 1995 in Campo Rico in Canavanas. 2 days before, a policeman shot one of the creatures in Camp Rico, which fled the site. The blood could well have been from that ABE. We proceeded to take the blood sample to a medical specialist and hopefully for DNA analysis. These tests are currently underway in the US, but here are the preliminary results.
Okay,
Sample 1. The original blood sample seemed to indicate similar characteristics to that of human A-type blood with Rh factor. Further analysis was not conclusive on this. So someone cut themselves.
New blood is type A with Rh factor.
I know that I keep making comments like this, but like, this is the kind of shit that you'd hear over random voice chat on a Team Fortress 2 server. Like, somebody is just going off about the goddamn Chupacabra.
Sample 2. Other analysis of the blood and matter associated to it in the sample showed a material content comparable to feces with detritus,
Oh my god.
E. coli
What?
bacteria, E. worms, and other parasites. Vegetal cellular material was
Is
also
that just
found.
a sick person's piece of shit?
They found a dog turd and sent it in as proof of the Chupacabra, it seems.
Well, I mean, if the blood sample came from blood after a creature was shot, what did the blood land in? Could it have landed in, like, the mud where there may have been traces of poo? Is that what you're finding?
Like, that's what I'm gathering from this, yeah. The content was comparable with that found in cases involving an injured animal or human with open wounds in the intestines through which a blood hemorrhage was issuing. Sample 3. The genetic analysis so far has revealed that the blood is in no way compatible with human blood, nor with any animal species known to science. The traces ratio of magnesium, phosphorus, calcium, and potassium are incompatible with those of normal human blood. They are much too high. The albumin gluoline RG ratio was also incompatible. The ratios found do not allow the results of the analysis to be compatible with those of any known animal species. At present, we can't place the sample with any earthly organism. Therefore, it could well be the product of a highly sophisticated genetic manipulation, an organism alien to our own environment, or perhaps extraterrestrial. Other preliminary tests on subtypes in genetic analysis are as yet inconclusive, but the results so far imply the samples originate from an unknown organism, except for the first one, which is human blood, and the second one, which is just some sort of blood with shit in it.
Like, something just kind of occurred to me. Like, we keep noticing all of these, like, typos, which, a few typos here and there are no big deal, but when there's, like, so many, it really kind of takes away legitimacy from this. But also, like...
Yeah, it really does.
Like, the wording of a lot of these seems very specific and, like, uses a lot of, like, big words, but they're frequently spelled wrong. That makes me think the person who wrote this thing is just transcribing stuff that they're reading in a UFO book, like, word for word, but spelling things wrong.
Mm-hmm. Before he's through, Jorge warns us of the disinformation campaigns actively trying to discredit him and others like him. This has been strengthened by certain media jokers who have sensationalized and made light of the situation. Media jokers like the three of us.
I think he's referring to the people who go out and kill goats with euthanasia devices to make it look like a chupacabra killed it.
Same thing. In many instances, ridicule has been used as a weapon against serious witnesses. Other disinformation and debunking campaigns appeared organized through UFO groups by the U.S. intelligence services. Serious investigators have had their credibility affected. At least 2 groups disseminate information through the media.
That would be the greatest job. Can you imagine if your job is a U.S. like intelligence officer, like from the CIA, and your job is to go out there and mock UFO people to make their claims sound ridiculous?
That's my dream job.
So you're literally just a professional gaslighter?
You're just a professional internet troll.
That's great. Sorry, in my brain, the Chupacabra doesn't even exist anymore. It is just a bunch of discombobulated heads, arms, and legs that do not fit together.
It's a biblically accurate angel.
And somewhere in there is a bag that says sample, and it's just poop.
It's when Homer's in the back of Chief Wiggum's squad car as they're following Marge, and they get the description, and Homer imagines them disparately in the wrong order, and then suddenly they go back to the right places, and he goes, Marge!
And then it's like, it's a ghost car.
At least 2 groups disseminate information through the media, spreading panic as they tell of how the Chupacabras...
When do we get to talk about the ghost cars? Now I'm interested again.
How the Chupacabras or ABEs belong to an alien race who, quote, created the AIDS virus to destroy the human race, end quote.
Okay.
Another body spread fear by explaining the Chupacabras belong to a voracious reptilian race of creatures, alien in origin, who have started devouring the populace. For our part, we have denounced their intent.
Devouring the populace, the very thing that you claimed they're not doing,
is what they're doing, yes.
I was like, they don't harm people, they only eat goats.
Well, listen, they're working their way up the food chain. They're working their way up the food chain. Once they've done away with all the goats and dogs and parakeets and schnauzers, then they'll
Tom,
get to people.
It's also the Greys. It's always the Greys.
Yeah, the Chupacabras were probably brought here by the Greys as pets.
Yeah, it's the Greys.
Okay, fellow reptilians, here's our plan. We're gonna send alien goat suckers down to Earth to devour the populace by biting into goats, leaving humans generally alone, and running away whenever you spot one.
Yeah, bravo. Earn the position.
It's brilliant. This man deserves a Nobel Prize. You know, if we weren't already going to give them to the Illuminati guy who invented the Nigerian prince scam. And we're almost done with the Chupacabra part here, but man, we close out with a good thing. Thankfully, in February of 1996, an intrepid group of ufologists led by Mark Davenport and Joyce Murphy set out on an expedition to Puerto Rico to further investigate the correlation between El Chupacabra and UFOs. The group, numbering at 13 people total, made some absolutely fascinating discoveries which definitely don't sound like insane bullshit. What follows are their findings in their own exact words. Now, I warn you, everything up until this point has been insane. This is still going to seem more insane by comparison.
Okay, do you want me to read some of it?
Oh, go ahead if you'd like.
We visited and interviewed the family that reports frequent contact and encounters with various beings.
Just various beings, you know, whatever.
Yep.
Besides new testimony involving contacts, the matriarch of the family presented several members of the expedition various gifts during the week that the aliens told her we would have need for.
Here's a loaf of bread. Leave my family alone.
An example of 2 synchronicities was when she gave Stuart a pair of sunglasses identical to the pair he had lost earlier on the trip.
Oh, no. No way.
And when she gave Mark a set of refrigerator magnets that were needed to illustrate a magnetic field on the floor of Sally's living room.
I love that.
Incontrovertible proof of aliens.
The aliens told me to give you these sunglasses. Wow, they're just like the sunglasses I lost earlier. Yes, lost.
Yeah, lost.
And here are magnets. The very magnets that you need to, I don't know, are you going to do like a science experiment with magnets? Sure, I guess. The very ones.
We are now? How did you know?
And here's a black light to reveal what it has written on the walls.
2. A local, highly educated, respectable, and credible resident of Laguna Cartagena area brought the group up to date on the recent happenings around the lake involving craft both descending and ascending from the water. A dock had been constructed out over the laguna, reason or use not understood by local residents or our expedition group. There is supposedly an opening underwater to the tunnel that crosses Puerto Rico in a diagonal line design, of which is much like the drain trap of a home sink, which would not let water into the tunnel itself. Anne, a delightful member of the expedition, decided to find the location of this portal herself. I love that, by the way. This throwaway line is just, Anne, a delightful member of the expedition, decided to find the location of this portal herself and jumped off the dock into the laguna, swimming and snorkeling all over the portion not covered by water lily growth. Her first-hand inspection of the lake revealed that if there is an opening that is not totally concealed by the silt, then it must be in the lily-covered area.
Anna's such a nice person. She must be a Nordic.
Yeah, she is a delightful Nordic, for sure. She's never even once tried to abduct me, which is great.
Which happens a frightening number of times when I'm with extended family.
Oh!
The Combate Beach suspected dimensional portal where one of the redshift effects was filmed on a previous expedition was filmed again with no visual effect this time in the film. What? I need to reread that because I have no idea what I just said. The Combate Beach suspected dimensional portal where one of the redshift effects was filmed on a previous expedition was filmed again with no visual effect this time in the film. It was determined that a nearby rock was highly magnetic. These are very disconnected thoughts, okay. This is the area where the family in number 1 of these findings reported a 20-year back-in-time experience while fishing there, and also that chips from this same rock moved without explanation over the floor of their home. Samples of the rock were brought back to be examined by experts.
Jeez.
Yeah! So, no explanation given for any of this.
How do people get money to do these things?
Just like, hey,
Yeesh.
this is where they suspected there was a dimensional portal. Also, there's a magnetic rock here. Oh, yeah, and someone went 20 years back in time while fishing here.
And they drop this information like it's something that you might already be familiar with.
Right.
Yeah, right?
Like this is the part where we saw the redshift effect.
This is common knowledge.
They're like, what? It's like, oh, you know, when they filmed it before and there was like red, but now they filmed it and there's no red. What's up with that? And this nearby rock was magnetic. That's gotta be connected. It's
No, the way they put it, I'm suspicious that they initially tried to take a really nice, like, family vacation photo and it got redshifted and they went back there as an excuse to retake the fucking photo. We put a lot of money into this anniversary trip, Janet.
Listen, just stand away from the magnetic rock and it won't fuck up the fucking picture this time.
No, it looks better if I stand here. The rocks will have to cooperate.
Which they can, apparently.
Jimmy, what was your favorite memory? I went back in time 20 years.
That's my favorite part, is like they just drop that. Like it's just like that's fine. That's normal.
I feel like they would have something there to like back it up, or at least to intrigue you about why this person said that they went back 20
but
years.
Instead, they just
like, what did they
it and then
see
just...
that made them say like there's a billboard that I saw that's like it's all like worn out and hasn't been changed in 20 years, but then all of a sudden it was fresh and new. And there were people like drinking Coke and it had a different label than I'm used to. You know, like something like that makes them say, I went back in time. Not just say, hey, I went back in time 20 years. No further questions.
They didn't feel a need to expound on that at all. And it just boggles my fucking mind that they're just like, yeah, you'll take this at face value. It's fine. So number 4, Sally, name changed to protect the family, is having frequent contact with the beings that took her boy twin 4 years ago at 7 months into the pregnancy. She and her husband visit him often in the craft.
What?
He is being taught to love both his natural parents and his alien parents.
All right, you know what?
What?
This is very much okay, I'm gonna go have a good night, guys. This is good stopping point for me. Jeez. Frigging alien and normal parents being dropped as casual as anything. What?
Sally is able to communicate at will with the alien beings, and at one time asked them to heal her father, who was on his deathbed with lower abdominal cancer. They came posing as doctors during the night, applying many strange forms of treatment, and the next morning he appeared to be cured, later documented as free from cancer by his physician at the local medical facility. When Mark entered the living room of Sally's house, his Gauss meter turned itself on and began going off. He later determined and mapped an octagonal-shaped magnetic field in the center of the living room floor. This area, Sally told us, where the aliens materialize and dematerialize.
How is the magnetic field octagonal shaped? That, like, how are you even measuring that?
Don't ask questions, shut up! The area is a portal to the underground tunnel from the Laguna area to El Yunque. Our next expedition will conduct a study of residents living along a straight line over the Aladged tunnel to see if they are having similar contact experiences.
Next expedition.
Okay, so is Sally 4 years old? Because I was very unclear about this, because Beings took her boy twin 4 years ago at 7 months into the pregnancy. So I'm assuming that must
mean she had twins in her and they only took the one.
But
it's a very dumb way to word it.
When it said her boy twin, I thought it meant like her twin brother.
I know, and that's why it makes it weird that it says she's 4 years old and has a husband.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a thing that I've noticed. She's pregnant with twins, and they take the one and leave the other. Which already I'm like, that's weirdly specific.
Yeah, but it's weirdly specific. That's why the Greys did it.
And then it was like returned. It doesn't say that he came back. Like they took they took the boy. They didn't wait until she gave birth. They just took it straight out of her and then I guess returned him.
No, it sounds to me like the aliens just like live in their craft, like orbiting over their house, and they like beam them up.
See, like if I was like a shill and I was writing a UFO book to deceive people and make money and, you know, to like profit off people like who are like really interested in UFO stuff, I would like expand on things.
Yeah, rather than just like go, hey, here's a thing, believe it. Next thing, believe it.
So bizarre. Okay. Many craft and alien sightings happened in the area immediately around the aerostat, a large surveillance blimp reported by the military to be for the purpose of detection of drug smuggling activity. It was Mark's conjecture that the aerostat is located directly over a dimensional portal. It's a blimp. It moves. Could this also possibly explain the Gulf Breeze aerostat? What is happening? The group climbed to a hilltop very near this infamous aerostat, where a wall is located, which is the site of many strange and possible multi-dimensional experiences being reported by the people living on the land.
You know what else is a multi-dimensional experience? Literally everything we experience. We live in a 3-dimensional world. It's all multi-dimensional, you fucking idiots.
I didn't even think of it that way.
They're misusing the word dimension so heavily here.
A whole bunch of things happen to me in 3D.
Whoa!
A small crop circle was discovered while driving over the grassy fields near the area of the well. The tall grass had blades bent 90 degrees at the nodules with no apparent natural cause of the perfect 90-degree bend. A strong reaction was felt and observed from the dowsing rods.
Yeah,
they just keep
they use dowsing rods. They use dowsing rods.
What are the dowsing rods? Like, where did these come in?
For their expedition to find the Chupacabra's gold or whatever the fuck they're doing. I don't know.
I love how this is all part of the Chupacabra thing, and it stopped being about the Chupacabra like 20 pages ago.
A night watch was conducted in conjunction with at least 30 of the local people on a hillside in the Adjuntas region where many sightings are being reported. Nothing of substance was seen that night.
The mayor of Canovanas held a private interview with our group to discuss the Chupacabra's issue. The group interviewed various persons reporting Chupacabra sightings in the area, including one machete-wielding lady who led the expedition to an area where she had seen the goat sucker resting several times. There was spotted coarse hair, some with bits of skin tissue attached, and unusual shaped dung in this immediate nesting area. Okay, unusual how? Is it like...
That ain't a normal turd.
Does it look like it was made with cookie cutters? Oh, this one's shaped like a dinosaur.
It contains 4 or more colors.
The Chupacabra has a gingerbread man-shaped anus so that it comes out in that shape.
I'm sorry, were you just talking about those, like, Play-Doh things that you squeeze through and it comes out as a star?
Yeah, exactly.
Samples of everything have been sent to a lab for DNA testing. Results will be published later.
And of course, number 8, night walks into restricted areas of El Yunque produce nothing of interest. Thank you. That was a necessary point. We really needed to know that.
Sorry, that's amazing. Like, every single, like, little tiny stone that they turned unearths, like, the most world-shatteringly bizarre things. And then finally, we went and had this whole other expedition that turned up absolutely nothing.
Yeah, we went into a restricted area that the government didn't want us to go to, and there was nothing of interest there. So, at the end of the day, what have we learned about the secret of the mystery of the Chupacabra? I don't know. Frankly, I'm going to go with the whole it's probably just wild dogs theory, but hey, that's just me.
I know less about a Chupacabra than I did when we started.
Yeah?
Then you're learning.
That's how I feel too. I'm going to bed now.
All right, I guess we're going to pick this up at another time.
Yeah, I guess this is longer than I thought, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot.
So that's all for today. Thank you to everyone for listening. Please review us on whatever you're listening to us on. It doesn't have to be a good review. Any review is fine. If you're not sure what to say, just say Chupacabras are real.
Absolutely. Don't deny it.
You know what? Or even better, if your platform supports as such, you just leave a comment of the best ASCII art of a Chupacabra you can find.
Yeah.
Show us your interpretation.
Draw the Chupacabra with whatever you feel it really looks like from inside your heart.
Until next time.